About 420,000 childhood cancer survivors live in the U.S., with many more around the world, according to St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. And one of those survivors is a young boy from Seward. And TV's Danielle Shenk sat down with the Whisler family to hear more about their journey. Danielle.
Colton Whisler had just turned 4 in May of 2018. That summer, he had been diagnosed with Bell's palsy. Then a few months later, he was diagnosed with cancer.
Steph had thought that it was a pesky ear infection that turned into a bad ear infection. We went through multiple rounds of doctor's appointments, and they kept saying it's the worst ear infection.
Then there were a few moments that happened, like not being able to hear while in the truck or his lack of wanting to play soccer, which pointed to the ear infection being something more.
I had just come home off the road, and we were walking around one of the stores, and he trips and falls like most 4-year-olds. And I happened to be holding his hand, and I pull him back up, and he's like, "Dad, the world is spinning." So I set him down and watched him, and he was wobbling, like he was extremely dizzy.
I think my mom instinct just knew that with everything going on, something just wasn't right. So I, continued to take him to the doctor and press for answers.
The Whistlers then got in contact with an ear, nose, and throat doctor who took a look at Colton on his day off.
The next day, he scheduled a biopsy, ran the tests, told us that it was rhabdo. After that, it started our journey down to St. Jude. Through some help with some family friends, we were able to get in touch with some doctors, got established at St. Jude.
They say he went through 6 weeks of proton radiation and 54 weeks of chemotherapy.
So we were in Memphis for about a year and a half. He was declared no evidence of disease on New Year's Eve, 2019.
Derek says Colton is back to normal, but he is a fireball for what he's been through and is a humble kid who doesn't quit or let anything slow him down.
Colt is doing wonderful. He's a kindergartner here in Seward and doing really well at school. He is playing hockey. He's just getting to be a normal kid, and it's something that we don't ever take for granted, being able to watch him do these things, because 2 years ago, we didn't know that this was going to happen.
Colton still has no evidence of disease, but won't be considered in full remission until he hits the 5-year mark.
He's doing really well, but we're always facing a loaded gun. Every 3 months when we go down, the tension's high because you don't know what that scan's gonna reveal.
Now, as the Whistlers focus more on the positives, they say they couldn't have gotten through this without St. Jude and the community that they have back at home. And you can hear more about that story today on NTV News at noon. It's a great story.
That's and something that the mom said there was, we didn't know this was going to happen. Nobody ever knows this is going to happen. This hits out of nowhere. It's a brick wall that comes flying at you, and then they've got to go and they got to worry about their kid. And that's why St. Jude's here, is so they don't have to worry about anything else. They just worry about being there for their kid and helping them get better. So
right, and then that second half of their story of just all the support and everything that they get from St. Jude, and I mean, like she was saying, from the valets to the check-in people, just all super welcoming.
It's incredible. It really is.